Hello. So I just reached rank 1 monk leaderboard again, and I did it with this new build that is probably the best challenge rift build I've ever used, at least thus far. This build focuses on chilling the mobs to make the rift easier for you, and rest of the kit is focused on having the best possible damage output we can get. So let's get straight on to what we use with this build and why. So let's start with the skills. And the first skill we are going through is going to be the 7-sided strike. And with 7-sided strike we are going to use Spirit's Reach. With Spirit Reach, 7-sided strike now places a runic circle inside which all enemies will be struck by your spirit allies. We will be using this skill as a damage dealer, and it synergizes very well with the palm. And there's going to be some legendaries that enables the palm to really synergize with the skill. Although the one legendary we are going to be using is going to be synergizing with everything in this kit. So let's go straight in it. The next skill is going to be palm. With exploding palm we are going to use Scalding Storm. With Scalding Storm, exploding palm will now inflict 20% chills on hit, and when the explosion happens it will inflict 40% chill everybody around for 4 seconds. Now there is a way to have this 40% chill up almost all the time. And how are we going to do that? Well, we are going to use numb realization. With a numb realization, exploding palm now has 30% chance to detonate by any attack you do. And the amount of attacks or triggers we are doing against the enemies is so high that at least one enemy is going to be exploding almost instantly. And every time the next one is going to explode, that will increase again the duration to 4 seconds. So we can almost every time have the chill up on the enemies. This will make grinding or actually killing the monsters inside the challenge rifts way easier. But now it is not enough to only chill the enemies to making it easier to dodge the skills or everything the enemies are doing. You still need a lot of damage. And for that, firstly, let's start with Wave of Light. With a Wave of Light we are going to need Shimmerlin. With Shimmerlin, Wave of Light now releases a wave of energy that damages all enemies in its path and burns them. It does say, but can no longer have multiple charges, but you still have 2 charges. I don't know if it's a bug or what is going on there. But again, the burn effect is the greatest thing you need for this, as there are going to be 2 things that it will trigger. The first thing is going to be the palm, and the other one is going to come a bit later. So before, we are using another legendary with Wave of Light, and that is going to be Chastising Radiance. Now this is pretty self-explanatory, because it gives you 10% more damage to Wave of Light, and as the skill can still hit enemies 3 times, although the last 2 hits are going to deal only 30% of the normal damage, this 10% is still going to increase the damage with a lot. Now for the last thing that the Wave of Light is going to trigger with Shimmerling is going to be Cyclone Strike. And before I can tell you what it's going to trigger, I need to show you that we are going to use Spirit Storm with the Cyclone Strike. Now Spirit Storm makes Cyclone Strike a tornado that continuously damages nearby enemies. Now the trigger here is, if the enemies are burning and you use Cyclone Strike, or you already used Cyclone Strike and then made the enemy burn, your Cyclone Strike will turn now to Firestorm, and when it's Firestorm it will critically strike everything that is burning, and this will essentially double the damage it is doing. With this you're getting so much more damage than you would with normally. And because you have 2 charges on the Wave of Light, you can have the Firestorm up all the time, or at least almost all the time. And for the normal attacks we are again using the Fist of Thunder, as you have mobility and you have more damage to the bosses. Now I probably should show you some set items you could use with this build, or well, there isn't many of them. So again, it's going to be, you guessed it, the Graces set. The Graces set increases all continuous shell damage, challenge damage and persistent ground damage by 15%. And with the 4th set piece, each time you damage an individual enemy 5 times you will do X amount of additional damage to that enemy. And because we are going to have burn, we are going to have 2 continuational ground damage on the target, plus we are hitting it with our fists. This thing is triggering like non-stop. So if you are one of the lucky ones and you got the 4 pieces of the Grey set, with the highest CR gear you have, then definitely use it. But for me, I'm just using the highest CR set items I have, so I don't even have any set properties at the moment. As inside the challenge rift, the CR, aka combat rating, is the most important stat. Not even resonance can win this combat rating. Although, of course, if you have rank 10 gems, you get more combat rating, so there is that. Now, there is few options you can use in the 6th item slots. You can use the Graces set with the 6th piece, but again it's 40-second cooldown. I don't really like that long cooldowns, so I would rather use something else with 2 set pieces. And I have 2 options for now, and they will be Isodar if you want that movement speed from pack to pack, so you can instantly get back to pack. It doesn't provide you any damage increases, so it is not that great, but you get the movement speed, and movement speed is equal time, so it is faster time to clear, so it might suit you. And the other one is going to be War Axe of Shalbaz. Now Shalbaz will give you damage, but it doesn't give you any utility, but 15% increased primary attack damage is going to help you kill the boss faster. If you feel like you do not have enough damage for the boss, first go for the Graces set, but if you still feel like you do not have enough damage, then you can go with the War Axe of the Shalbaz, because this set is not going to be even close to the Graces set of the damage increases, because this is only going to be for your primary attacks. Now for Pragons, you should be using Vanquisher tree, and I've highlighted the skills you should be leveling up from the Vanquisher tree if you really want to get an edge in the challenge rifts. Now although I said you should be using Vanquisher tree and leveling these up, there is going to be something you need to decide first, because I have one video about the best paragons for damage. And you should really check that out and see if you are going to get enough skill points to level the Vanquisher tree up. I will be having that video in the descriptions if you're interested. Getting 2100 damage just from the Paragon tree. I would highly recommend watching it if you already haven't. Now, for now, I don't have any more tips for you. But if this video were helpful, please consider leaving a subscribe and please smash that like button. It would really help me out. It is free if you wanna support this channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope to catch you on the next one.
My will falters.